Well, hi there, food friends. It's Kevin.
And Marianne behind the camera.
And welcome to Cavalcade of Food. And guess what, Cookie? We're making cookies. So, Marianne, today we are going to do an old-fashioned sugar cookie. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
And we're going to flavor it up. What I like about this recipe is that it's your basic sugar cookie, but you can flavor it in a lot of different ways. You can flavor it just with vanilla. You could flavor it, make it lemon. You could make it almond. I'm going to use some butter and nut flavoring, which I like. But you could take this in a lot of different directions. You can make an icing for these. You can serve them plain. You can put little sprinkles on top of them. There's just lots of stuff you can do with these sugar cookies, okay? So let's get going here. We're going to start with our dry ingredients, and then we're going to get those ready, and then we're going to put our wet ingredients together and add the dry to the wet. Here we go. Okay. Mare, I've got 3 1/4 cups of just all-purpose flour here, okay? And you can sift this if your flour is really lumpy, but most flour is already pre-sifted. But what I'm going to do, Mare, is I'm going to add a teaspoon of baking soda and a half a teaspoon of salt to our flour mixture. Then I am going to sort of, again, you could sift these ingredients together. I find it just as easy to use a little whisk action. How's that? Okay. We don't have sugar cookies too often, do we?
No, we don't. Maybe at Christmas time.
Christmas, yeah. Okay. All right. So let's put our dry ingredients aside. Now, let's come over here to our wet ingredients. We're going to first do some creaming. So I've got a stick here of unsalted butter that has been out and is softened. Okay. To that, I'm going to add a cup of sugar. Okay. And let's just kind of get that creamed up here. So, yeah, this is really an old recipe, and I'm trying to remember where it came from there, but I can't. But anyways, let me get this butter creamed up and sugar. Okay, Mare, we've got our butter and sugar creamed nicely. Let me just do a quick little scrape down here. And then what we're going to do, Mare, is I've got 1 large egg. And what do we say about eggs with baking?
They need to be room temperature.
You are correct. We're going to add that egg in. And I'm going to add my flavorings in at this time. I'm going to put in a teaspoon of vanilla. And then, again, I'm using butternut flavor. We're going to put in, 2 teaspoons of that. Okay. Then, let me scrape this down. So, Mayor, once this is all mixed, this is a sort of a nice ingredient here for these cookies. We are going to add also some sour cream. I've got a half a cup right here of sour cream. And the recipe, as always, is under the video, right, Mare? And people, I often say, because people ask about this. This is a Wonder Cup. Sounds like a brassiere, doesn't it? When people said, I think you need a Wonder Cup, I was offended. I'm like, what are you saying? But actually, it's a wonderful measuring cup that is great for things like sour cream and mayonnaise and peanut butter and honey and molasses and probably some stuff I'm forgetting. But I use it a lot. Okay, let's get that in there. You really want to get these wet ingredients mixed well before you put in the dries. So give it the extra minute. This is an example of a recipe where it really helps to have a stand mixer. I can smell that sour cream. That always adds such a nice richness to the recipe. Okay, Mare, let me do one last scrape and mix, and then we'll come back with our dry. Okay, Mare, we've got our wet ingredients blended up good. And then what I'm going to do is we are going to gradually add our flour mixture to this. You might want to put it on low speed. I'm going to put it in this way. This is going to make a relatively stiff kind of a dough, Mare. And kind of let the mixer incorporate the flour as you put it in. If you put it in all at once, it's hard. You know what I mean? It takes a long time depending on your mixer, it can take a long time to get the flour fully incorporated into those wet ingredients. So, all right, we'll come back when I've got all the dry ingredients here mixed in. All right, honey, here is our batter, or our dough, I should say. You can see it's on the stiffer side, but we're going to get that out. I'll clean everything off the beater here, and then I'll get a couple of cooking sheet pans ready. The oven is at 425 degrees. So we are making homemade sugar cookies. So Mare, I'm going to kind of make these into balls like this. And again, you can make them whatever size you want, but I'm going to do it about like that. I don't know, that ping pong ball size, I'm not sure. But we'll try to get a dozen here on this sheet. And then what I'm going to do is, let me take these 6 here so I can show our friends what the plan is. Okay, we've got our 6. Then I took just a rocks glass and I wrapped it with a piece of parchment. And I'm hoping, yes, that way it doesn't stick too terribly bad. Come on. And we're going to just sort of flatten these a little bit. Okay. Then, Mare, I've got some cane sugar here. This is coarse sugar. You could also get, they have a sugar, I think it's called Demaria sugar, which is also coarse like this. It's almost brown. And again, it's refined differently so that it's not white, but it's very coarse. We could put some sprinkles on here if you wanted, if we were making this for the kids, right?
Right.
Jimmies, all that kind of stuff. Anyways, I'm going to finish this up, and they're going to bake in the oven, which again, 425 degrees, for about 12 minutes or so. So, Mare, it's been 12 minutes. The timer went off, and let's take them out of the old Westinghouse. Look at that. Nice and just a light golden brown color. We are going to let these cool for a minute or so, a couple minutes on the cooling rack or on the pans, and then I'm going to transfer them here to a rack. You can see they're puffed up a little bit. As they cool, they will deflate. And once they're cool enough, oh yeah, we're trying them. So, the first batch is cooled. Second batch is in the oven. I got almost 4 dozen out of this recipe. So, figure about between 3.5 dozen. Again, it depends on the size you make them. But I think these are just the perfect size. You can see, Mare, we have a nice brown bottom. Little glistening of sugar on the top. You know what? This is an old-fashioned sugar cookie. Again, you could make these lemon, almond, any flavor you want. These have a nice butter flavor because of the butternut flavoring I put in and the vanilla. And they are delicious. Great with coffee or tea, by the way. So, there it is. I'm going to have one more. What do you think of that? So, Marianne, thanks for working the camera.
You're welcome.
Should we tell our friends about the website?
Yes, we should.
And it is?
cavalcadafood.com.
That's right, girl. cavalcadafood.com. You can connect to my other YouTube channel, Always Analog, from there. You can connect to my Saturday morning radio program, Cavalcade Radio Hour, from there. Please subscribe if you have not. We are on a subscription campaign here at the Cavalcade Studios, and so that helps us a great deal. I'll thank my little sister for working the camera.
You're welcome.
And we'll thank our food friends for watching. Eat more cookies, everybody, and we'll see you again real soon, right here on Cavalcade of Food. Bye.
Bye.